Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we're going to start a new series of classes on Sagittarius ascendant and Jupiter in the different signs. And first of all, I think we should do an overview before we get into the individual significations, Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter in Taurus, etc. We should give just a general introduction to what a Sagittarius ascendant is all about. Right? What the Sagittarius wants in this lifetime. Right? My teacher always used to say that the ascendant is the person's passport in this world. In other words, you know who he is and where he's coming from. When you see that ascendant, and each ascendant is completely different. And I remember my teacher, he always used to, when he told me once when he started out in astrology, he would always keep his finger on the ascendant in order to remind himself that that's what he's talking about. Because really each ascendant takes all the different planets and uses them together and integrates them and makes them into a whole person. So depending on what the ascendant is, they're going to be used the planets will be used in a different way. And so Sagittarius is a very excellent ascendant because it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of great good fortune. It's the planet of expansion, right? The main thing it does is it expands, it grows things, it makes things larger. Right? And so, and it's a very spiritual type in a lot of cases anyway. It can be very spiritual, right? It tends to be a person who strives for a good Jupiter anyway, strives to be very moralistic, to be very to behave properly, to lead the good life, right? Sometimes they go off too, and they get pulled off for whatever reasons by pleasures of the world, by the and things like that, but in the essence they try to be sort of moralistic. Jupiter, for example, Jupiter rules the 9th house, so the 9th house rules it rules religion, spirituality, it rules higher education, it rules travel. They like to expand, they like to enlarge themselves, right? That travel is like you expand your horizons in a very physical way. Religion, you sort of expand, you want to get to the upper worlds, you want to expand yourself in a spiritual type of way. Higher education, you want to expand yourself intellectually. Jupiter also rules the law. You'll find a lot of lawyers that they tend to have Jupiter being very strong in the chart, especially Jupiter Martian aspects, very indicative of lawyers. You get a Jupiter Sagittarius with Jupiter rising conjoined, a square Mars. A lot of cases that there can be lawyers and things like that. They like to fight upholding for the legal system. Jupiter rules the legal system and things like that. So all those are connected with the Sagittarian. The Sagittarian loves to talk, it loves to express its ideas. It likes to communicate. Remember, Jupiter is an intellectual sign. The two intellectual signs are Jupiter and Mercury. Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. Jupiter rules the 9th house, and it also rules the 12th house, suffering. A person gets great knowledge through suffering. Gets through. Also, that it's another way of getting higher knowledge is through suffering. We'll talk about more of that when we talk about Pisces ascendant with Jupiter as the ruling planet. There the person acquires the knowledge through suffering. In Sagittarius, he gets higher knowledge, the person. And so it comes from, ideally it's from, it can either be from, passing down from teachers, a tradition, or he gets Person can get, they could have visions and things like that from the upper worlds, and they get higher knowledge that way. And in any case, it's all the Jupiter Sagittarian is very adventurous. It's one of the most adventurous signs because again it rules travel and searching and the quest for higher knowledge and things like that. So it can bring a tremendous amount of travel, of movement. It can be difficult for a woman, right? Because Sagittarians don't like to be at home. The Sagittarius, they're the adventurers of the zodiac. So in a lot of cases it can be difficult for a woman, right? In a Sagittarius ascendant, then you have Cancer on the 8th house. The home dies, right? A Sagittarian, when you put him in the home, when you put her in the home, she'll feel dead, right? She wants to be out having adventure. And so for women in a lot of ways who tend to spend more time at home, they have to raise children and things like that, it can be much more of a difficult combination. But it's also right? It's an interesting thing, really. If you really want to understand each sign, say you want to understand each sign, you have to really look not only at the sign on the first house, which tells you the essential nature of the person, but you can learn more about the person by looking at which signs are on the other houses, right? For example, a Sagittarius has Virgo. Usually they have Virgo on the 10th house cusp. For the Sagittarius, the knowledge brings him or her to service. Right? The higher knowledge eventually is to serve people, to serve mankind, to help people, to make the world a better place, right? That's Virgo on the ascendant. The Sagittarius, really, to complete themselves, they always go towards service, right? And so if you look at all the different signs on the different houses, you can get also a deeper understanding of the Sagittarius. For example, the Taurus is on the 6th house cusp, so the Sagittarian doesn't have a good Sagittarius with Taurus there in the 6th house. He's uncomfortable trying to make money a lot of the time, because again he wants to. Right, a person who travels loses their money, right? It's a known thing. Travelers have a hard time holding on to their money. And so it also could make it difficult for them. Although, again, Sagittarius is considered a good sign for money, because the Sagittarians are very expansive. They can make things grow, make things larger. But in any case, we're trying to give Sagittarius is a mutable sign. All the intellectual signs are mutable. You have to know that. All the signs connected with Mercury and Jupiter are mutable, because it's the nature of thinking. A good thinker sees all the different sides of a problem, all the different ways to look at things and see things in many different lights to get a complete mind. And so they're always, so it's a mutable sign, but a mutable sign sometimes can be a little difficult. They tend to go, in many ways, they can go in two directions. So sometimes it leads to problems, say in marriage, where it's hard to stick with one wife or one husband, or in career, they tend to like them more than one career. Because again, there'll be mutable signs on the 7th house and the 10th house cusps. And so all of these things have to be taken into consideration. But remember, the main goal of the Sagittarius really is the seeker in this world. He really is looking to, he or she, they're looking for that higher knowledge, that the way to connect to the ineffable. And it's a good sign. And next week we'll start with all the different combinations. And I thank everybody for listening.